Yo, you're listening to Everyday Superpower, the place where we talk body language, verbal communication, human dynamics game, everything in between. Two links in the description of this video. One of them will take you to the catalogue of body language. It's a playlist I have composed of information on how you can read somebody's subconscious behaviour just by watching them in real time. Second to that is a link to the Patreon where you will join me in watching people on their very first date video. Okay, I'll break down the attraction and repulsion cues. You'll internalize that. You'll see that in your day-to-day. It's game you won't get elsewhere. Now, let's move on forwards. Conversation of today is on the power of the word as far as your attraction power to women, right? So we like things what we see. We're men. We like things what we like to see what we see. We think without downstairs. All right, that's what they tell us. Because we see fertility, right? We see procreation. We are hardwired to look at a woman and judge her based on her health, you know, whether that be through her physical, whether that be through the health of her hair, which not many people speak on, but the quality and health of the hair is incredibly positive. I'm gonna actually do a video on that because it applies to you as well, man. All right. So we look at their reproductive value first and foremost, and they might highlight more so of a survivability. They look at our survival qualities a little bit more so than our reproductive qualities, okay? So when we speak on the alpha and the beta male, although somebody wanted to argue that it's not necessarily beta, but more so, you know, call them a square, so an alpha or a square sort of person. The genetic versus the fatherly. All right. Woman will tend to primarily look more so for the fatherly elements within a man, the provision a man can provide, the ambition a man has, the traits that sort of go above and beyond purely their physical appearance. Although for initial attraction, to actually get the foot in the door, physical appearance is a good means of doing so. You know, it's not to detract going to the gym and so on and so forth, but we're going to talk about the power of the word in this video. Now, give me one moment. I think I had COVID, people, so just give me 1 second. I've had a bit of a heavy chest for the best part of 4 weeks now. So, the power of the word. With the word, well, let's say, for example, if you're wanting to have sexual relations with a woman and hopefully, you know, if she's good for you, have something a little deeper connecting with a woman. Post that, if not before that, but preferably post that, right? You wanna get your foot in the door in another means as well. You need to speak, you need to engage, you need to verbally communicate for the most part. I mean, it can be done without much communication. If you go on a night out and you play your cards right, you don't necessarily need to talk too much at all. And I say that through experience. That used to be my forte because I wasn't very good at speaking, to be honest, at one point. But you need to engage, you need to talk to women, right? You need to create connection, you need to bring down their barriers, so to speak. You need to prove to them that you're not necessarily threatening, or at least not threatening in a dangerous to her way, okay? The power of the word. Through the power of the word, you can insinuate. Through the power of the word, you can plant seeds that stimulate the imagination. And stimulation of the imagination is a necessity for somebody to fall in love. They won't necessarily fall in love with you without a bit of food for thought. A woman has got an imagination as to which we will never be able to comprehend. Okay? We as men cannot comprehend what the woman sees through her eyes ever, because we do not have the brain of a woman, right? We do not have the biological makeup, the chemistry that is the woman's, and such is the vice versa, right? So it'd be naive to say that we will ever understand, but what we do know is that a woman does have a broader imagination than the man. The creative element of our beings is approached in a feminine manner. To create is to create life, and to create life and to give birth is a feminine trait, right? So to create is feminine by default at the root of it. So to be imaginative tends to be a feminine trait, and in doing so and being a creative individual, I'm a creative man, right? And I understand that, and the androgynous aspect can be quite appeasing and can, in a narcissistic manner, confirm the positive introspective self-belief of the woman in communication with them when you show them a bit of yourself, whom is a bit of themself, in a positive light. That's a story for another time though. Interacting with someone's ego to mirror somebody on a deeper level, more so than the non-verbal communication, but to mirror someone through your actual honest traits that correlate with their perspective and worldview and positive ideas of themselves. The power of the word, the power of being ambiguous and generalized, but concentrated when needs be, is a powerful tool. You weaponize what you need to say. And when I say weaponize, you spear through the defense straight to the heart in a positive manner when needs be. You can shock, astound, even hurt feelings to a degree in a cold and fearless manner when necessary to stir things up. To say, I'm not here to please you all the time. And she will get stuck in a whirlwind and fall in love with you. But to say that out loud in conversation can be controversial, but when you flip it upside down, the woman does that to the man, especially the desperate man. And in every relationship, whether it be someone just meeting up in comparison to somebody in a 10-year relationship, somebody who has been married for 15 years, there is still a power dynamic and a power struggle that exists within two humans. And you best believe that that woman tends to fall in love with that man initially because he holds the cards and holds his masculine frame and possesses the leadership capabilities of a man. And then what you will see over time is that woman will continue to test him, feel out his boundaries through the form of what some may call shit testing, see if she can push through his boundaries, from there start to chip away at him until he is in the feminized position and she throws him away because he's not the man he used to be. The power of the word. Don't give everything at once. Don't sell yourself in a direct manner. Be indirect. Through the power of the words, you can be indirect to the point where you generalize until you need to say something direct, overt, and the power as to which that sentence, that statement holds, you can create a shiver in that woman. In the most positive of ways, in the most exciting of ways, in the most seductive of ways. When you create uncertainty, when you create mixed messages, when you create uncertain patterns, you create food for thought. When somebody can work you out, then what more is there? When I've seen the film 20 times over through the men I've known in the past, and after sussing you out because you've told me everything you are in the space of one date or two meetings, how exciting are you? You're just white noise. You just exist in the space of all the rest of the fodder. But when somebody a little enigmatic comes along, who has depth, who has fathoms, who speaks to me in a way that I can think, that I can take them words home and think, what did he mean by that? And things are different. And now, me as a man in my life, I've met other men who have been somewhat Machiavellian in nature, in hindsight, and have spoken to me in a manner as to which there has been an underlying threatening energy And I've gone home and I've thought about it. And what I've done is I've given that individual power by absorbing that energy, absorbing that subcontext, that message. It's stimulated my mind and I've given them rent-free space in my head to reconsider the words they have said and try to assess, analyze and work out the real meaning as to what's been said. And these people come few and far between because everybody else is relatively basic, but there are a few smart people who come along who can inspire that in others. Now, I'm not saying you want to threaten women, but you want to have that same, I can say I've experienced that myself because my survival mechanism has gone off of the roof, but you don't want to trigger that in a woman. You want to trigger that reproductive value. You want to set her reproductive hardwiring on fire by giving her the space of mind to consider that you might be the one for her. If she's not thinking about you, she'll be thinking about something else, so why can't she think about you instead? And it can be incredibly, to the generalized public, to people who aren't aware of this, it can seem counterproductive in a means when I say, annoy her. Take distance, disappear for no reason whatsoever. You were getting along with somebody so well and then suddenly you just turn your back to her and disappear. Why have you done that? Just do it for a week or two. First and foremost, see if she gets back in touch with you. And if she doesn't, it doesn't matter because you're working on your purpose. I've spoken this before. It does really not matter because you're always number one. You can always find the next person. You are a beautiful man who has dreams and ambitions and spiritual purpose, real life purpose that goes above and beyond the opinions and the, lives of other people. You are number one, so don't you worry about that. You know your worth, and you will know your worth when you focus on yourself and know where you're going and emphasize that. Invest in yourself 24 hours a day, each and every day. But if everything's going well, offend her. How dumb does that sound? Verbally offend her. Just say you've been looking a little bit down as of recent. You've been looking a little bit tired. Are you alright? Even though she hasn't. Just tell her you've seen that and she'll start to think, why did he say that? That's a bit unnormal. Doesn't he like me anymore? Doesn't he like me? And she'll start to chase you. Bro, I've been juggling some space now. This is mad, right? But each to their own. I've been pursuing some girl. She got a boyfriend. I couldn't care less about a boyfriend. I don't know a boyfriend. It's all fair game. Do you think it when I've been in relationships, other men have been backing up my woman? It doesn't stop women from being off the market. You just have to have your game tight and you keep your woman, simple as. I've been pursuing a woman. She got a partner, so she's playing it safe. I've been trying my best. It got to a point where I might have put my best foot forward a bit too much. Got too involved in her space. At that point, I cut it off. I just disappeared. Went AWOL. When we started to engage again, she started to beg for my validation. Started to talk about, I've said, I've been giving you this much. I've been giving you this much. Can I have something back? Can I have something back? You'll see how it works out. It's all human dynamic. You will start to not obsess. I think initially you may obsess, such as somebody who initially gets into the red pill when they have what is considered red pill rage, because they start to see the world in a different way and they start to be hyper vigilant to the behaviors of others. Initially, when it comes to observing and understanding and assessing and doing the mathematics on your dynamics with other people and your communication and just trying to work out where you stand with other people, you initially become like very hyperfixated, especially if you really have feelings for who you are thinking about. But then it just becomes a natural part of your conversation and communication with people, and it's not ever in a detrimental way because you want to give pleasure such as you want to receive pleasure. We go through the world, we want to get what we want. That's just the simple way about it. And if you can have that girl on your arm who you love ever so much, you best play it safe and you best approach it with the love and care she deserves. You give it the thought and you apply stratagem, because as much as people say, oh, she's the one for me, and oh, it's all organic and this and that, trust me, it doesn't have to be organic. You can work it out, because if you're trying to find somebody who is, beautiful, you got competition, and your competition is going to be above and beyond who you are in many different ways. So you might as well have your head screwed on and be intellectual and observe it with a little bit of thought and a little bit of creativity, right? So communicate in that manner. The power of the word is powerful. Emotion is powerful. You don't need to go through hurting people's feelings and being horrible, but there's nothing wrong with stirring things up for a moment and saying something a bit off key and being a bit offensive from time to time and saying no when it makes sense to you and blurring patterns so you're not so readable, so you're not so general as everyone else, so you're not just chasing her around like everybody else is, so you're not just complimenting her all the time like everybody else is. If she asks you to do something, say, what can you do for me? What are you willing to do for me? And then move on to the next question. She can answer that to herself in her own time. We've already changed the question. What are you going to do for me? Or let's make it a statement. What will you do for me? Yeah, I can do that for you, but you're going to have to look after me down the line. Is that alright? Yeah, good. Alright. Move on. Next question. Let's keep talking. That didn't even happen. We're moving onwards. I've said that. I've not blushed. I've not said anything. It was a bold statement. But down the line, yeah, you will be doing things for me because we are going to be moving onwards. And let's say you say something off key, or it was so bold it sort of came across as a little bit wrong. She'll go and tell her friends. And the general person will feel awkward and insecure about that. No, she's gone and started speaking to her friends about something you've said, and now you are the topic of conversation between her and her friends. She's marketing you to her friends. You are developing a fan base. What's a fan? It's a fanatic. Love it or hate it. Love Donald Trump or hate Donald Trump. Love Kanye West or hate Kanye West. Love Joe Biden or hate Joe Biden. If you're talking about him, you're giving them power, you are marketing. You don't have to vote for that person, but now you could vote for that person because you are aware of them. Marketing 101. The power of the word. Not only can you influence those whom you are speaking to, but the people around that person by saying the right things at the right time, or maybe the wrong things, which is just as powerful. What you don't want to be doing is staying middle of the line, just walking the line, just playing it safe. Screw that. You need to be a someone, you need to be a man, and you need to be bold. And in doing so, you put yourself before and foremost 95% of that population. That was some game. Click like and subscribe. I'm signing out. Peace.